off Adam Matthews and Matt Price. Coach, you make an opening statement, please.
Well, obviously, we're delighted to still be playing at this time of year. I said many times, we don't take anything for granted around here, and nothing comes easy for us. And we've been able to grow into a better team than we had when we started. These guys sitting to my right here, the leaders, the backbone of this team, have helped us get in this position, and we're delighted to be hosting the Super Regional. We have great respect for Coach Galloway and Oklahoma. Have a great club, and it wasn't that long ago that we played, and we're excited to have them in town.
Questions for the student athletes?
For either of the guys, I mean, a lot's been made about the games 2 years ago. You know, they were the last one to beat you in the postseason. Do you guys think about that at all? I mean, do you go back and look back at those 2 games about how close they were?
I don't know. I haven't. I guess.
These guys were watching soccer a few minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, I was on that. But you know, we played them 2 years ago, so they've got experience. We understand that, and I think that's really as far as we've really thought about that. You know, we know they're a great ball club, and you know, we're looking for a good weekend.
Yeah, like Michael said, you know they're going to come in here and they got a great club, and we haven't thought too much about 2 years ago. You know, they had a good club back then, and games could have went either way. You know, we were fortunate to have them, us being on the winning side of those, or the second one. But you know, we haven't thought too much about it, and we're just going to go out and try to play some good baseball.
For all you guys, including you, Ray, there's a couple notable streaks at work here: a playoff streak, a home playoff streak. Is there any specific intangible other than talent that's behind such a long streak?
You know what? I don't really think so. I was talking this morning. That was brought to my attention, and I never ever think about any of those things. I really don't. I just try to come out each day if we're practicing, have a good one. If we're playing, try to play well. And you know, I know we've had a pretty good run, but is there an intangible? You know, you say, I think you hit it on the head. You got to have pretty good players, and a lot of teams have good players, and maybe we've been very fortunate. We played well at the right time. I don't think that's anything that you can necessarily put your finger on. There's some teams around the country that have expectations, and they think they're going to win today. And I know these guys feel the same way, but there's a lot of teams like that. So I don't think there's anything necessarily that you can pinpoint. It's just trying to approach it the right way and do the best you can.
Let's try to keep the questions for the student athletes first, please.
Yeah, just showing up every day, being able to come out here and play this game every single day. We're getting into our 4th month maybe of the season, and so you just it's sometimes it's a grind. You just gotta be able to show up and play every day.
Yeah, you know, like they said, it's a grind. You know, but at the same time, we just come out here prepared. You know, I think we're to the point in our careers that we kind of know how to take care of our body, and you know, we really don't look at the streak, or honestly, I couldn't say the last time I thought about it when I'm on the field. You know, it's brought up in here, but other than that, we just go out there and try to win each inning, and you know, win each at bat. That's what's on. That's what we're thinking about out there.
Yeah, these guys wrapped it up for him or something.
Like a closer. Adam, now that you're kind of have thought about those two years ago games against Oklahoma a little bit, Whit Merrifield was saying that he can remember standing next to you in the dugout on the pitch to Jackie that was a little bit inside, and that you guys thought that was it. And just could you kind of just recount a little bit what was going through your mind as you said you kind of dropped your head, you guys dropped your head, everybody in the dugout, just what was going through your mind on that pitch, and then so quickly later, just the emotions changing?
Yeah, that was one moment in my career that sticks out just because of how emotional it was. I mean, we were right beside each other, and I like to say that if it was anybody other than Jackie at that play, that ball was awfully close. But you know, Jackie's a great hitter, and he took that pitch and was fortunate enough to get a big hit in a clutch situation for us.
Other questions for the students? Nothing?
Do you have any memories of that pitch?
Yeah, I remember a lot of words that I couldn't say here. That's what I remember. And then it changed real fast. But yeah, that was a weird moment.
Michael, taking that game as a starting off point, I mean, that was really kind of before you became Michael Roth. You know, it was a couple days later that everybody kind of knew who you were after that Clemson game. And now tomorrow, you're getting ready to go out there, maybe for the final time, most likely for the final time. Can you talk about everything that's happened these couple of years and what it's going to mean to you to step out there tomorrow?
Yeah, I remember I pitched an inning maybe that game against Oklahoma, and I came out and it was like we won the game. We were heading back to the bus, and Coach Holbrook looked at me and goes, "Hey, would you be good to start tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, why are you asking me that? And I sat down next to Adam. I was like, "Coach Holbrook said I might start tomorrow." Like, what's he thinking? I still was not believing that at all, and you know, whatever happened, and so fast forward 2 years, and here we are now. It's wild. I've had a great career here, an awesome career. I can't ask for a better 4 years experience in South Carolina. This is definitely my final time, I guess, starting a game in Carolina Stadium. So that's kind of surreal, and I'm just looking forward to another opportunity to get on the mound.
Anything else? You guys can go. Questions for Coach Tanner?
Ray, just a quick update on Forrest and Grayson. Are both those guys expected to be on the postseason roster?
Yeah, Forrest is ready to go. We didn't use him last weekend, but he feels good and he's had some more rest now. So I don't think that's an issue as we go forward. We'll have to evaluate Forrest at the end of the year to make a decision on if we need to get him ready for next year. Grayson, some of you guys who were here earlier saw him moving around a little bit, running, trying to get around the bases and taking some swings. He may be limited to getting in a catching position, but I have to turn in a roster at 4:30, 4:45, so I'll leave here and go back to the training room to see if he's got the green light, and if that's the case, if we don't have any swelling or anything, we'll probably activate him.
Ray, Sonny was in here a little bit ago, telling us how you told him that on that pitch to Jack, your head went down after you saw it cross, and then you kind of noticed that nothing else was happening there. I mean, can you take us back to what you were thinking at that moment in that game?
Well, Jackie, remember his career, he had a great eye. He was one of those guys that didn't chase too much when he was in a zone, but we're also from the school that you get 2 strikes, you got to battle, too close to take. And I thought maybe, sometimes a pitcher makes a pitch, the catcher's in the right spot, he gets the call. And, when he stuck it, and he did, I'm thinking, he's going to get a backwards K right here, and then there was no call. And, of course, the game continues, and I couldn't wait to get a look at that on video, and it, in fact, was inside. And, because I said to Jackie, how did you take that? And he said it was inside. And I said, okay. and sure enough it was. But sometimes you get rung up. But it was the right call and good piece of hitting there. So that's the way this game is sometimes. It's a game of inches, and sometimes you can flavor in off. You hit some atom balls or you hit a bloop, and that's part of it.
Yeah.
Great to see Adam sitting up there next to you after the big weekend he had last weekend. He really had an up and down year, and he really was struggling there for a while. What was it about him that made you stick with him? He still started 55 games. A lot of guys might have pushed him aside, but he's redeemed himself in big ways down the stretch here. What made it you want to stick with him?
Well, there were 2 factors. Number one, you have an older guy in your program like that who was voted by his teammates as a captain. The last thing in the world that you want to do is bench him. And boy, I didn't want to go there. You know, despite the way he started the season, he scuffled, and it almost looked like for a while we're going to have to give some other guys an opportunity. I did not want to go there. He doesn't give you any reason to put him on the bench other than performance. Everything else is an A+. And I kept leaving him in there, and then one day I sat him down. I said, look, I don't want to bench you. I think you know that. So if we can continue to win our share of games, I'm going to hold on to that. And hopefully you get it going. But even if you don't, that leadership and the ability to have a great approach every day will be infectious for your teammates. And so you have an opportunity. Don't feel like you got to be 4 for 4 today, but if you can continue to have a great approach and help this team win, you're not coming out. You deserve that. You've earned that. And thank goodness it worked out, because I didn't want him sitting next to me. And to see him feel comfortable at the most critical time of the year. He's had some good at-bats, an MVP last weekend. That's very special.
Darryl.
Just kind of revisiting the 2010, before Jackie came up, Whit was up, and as Whit was kind of remembering, he looked at a pitch that it was a hit and run call, and was when Barry stole second. And you know, I don't know what was your reaction to that, to him looking at that pitch, because Whit was saying he looked at it because the guy was slow to the plate and he figured he could get away with it there. Your thoughts on maybe that was kind of a little bit of a more overlooked part of that sequence?
Well, you get a little bit of a crafty veteran there, where the pitcher, I remember distinctly, was a little bit slow to the plate. That being said, you don't send a below average runner either, unless you're going to get some protection. And you know, Whit was able to recognize that, and we were able to somehow get down there, and it all worked out. And you know, hey, let's be frank here. You know, to have success in this game, you got to play it the right way. You got to respect it. You got to have good players. You got to have all those things, and it doesn't hurt to have some things go your way. You know, sometimes, like I said, you make a pitch, it's a pitcher's pitch, and it's a base hit. Other times, you leave it in the zone, and the guy pops it up. That's part of this game as well. So we've had some good things happen, and the only thing that you try to do is you keep playing. You just keep playing. You don't get defensive. You don't get tense. You don't have the anxiety. You just play. And you try to keep everything going in the right direction. Don't do anything. Don't let anything happen that is not a positive influence. Just like today, I'll probably had more fun today at practice than I've had the entire year. Oh, why? Because the alternative is not good. So I made sure that I had a good time today. And I think that's not, regardless of what happens in this series, you got to go play and do the very best you can, and let it just be about baseball. And I'll be the first to admit, in my career, I've been guilty. I've been guilty of sometimes putting my team in a trap, because I was intense, and I was prepared, and I was pressured, and I was transferring that pressure. And it doesn't work. You can be tough on guys. You can be a task oriented, and you can be a tough coach, and they can handle it, but it's not necessarily a good thing. And for me anymore, there's no place for that.
Back to the room.
Coach, can you just talk about Michael Roth, his last start here at Carolina Stadium? He's meant an awful lot to this program over the last couple of years. Just kind of comment on his final outing here at Carolina Stadium tomorrow night.
I don't like to think about that too much. He's been, I think I've been here 16 years. He's been with me 13 of them. I mean, he's been here for a long time, and he's been tremendous. I mean, he's been one of those guys, even early on in his career, even before he made a splash. I mean, he was kind of a guy you could talk to. He was leadership. He was intelligent. He understood the game. He understood his role. He did his work off the field in the classroom. He volunteered in the community. He did all those things, and he didn't have to be pushed or told or given any direction. He was the right kind of guy from day one, and he had fun. So he's, his influence on this program is tremendous. It goes beyond the number of years that he'll be here, and his teammates love him. They have fun. He's been to see me a few times when, maybe the other guys weren't going to say anything, but he did. He would represent his teammates once in a while if he didn't like something I was doing, and come in and sit down and put his arm on the back of the couch and I want to talk to you about something. And really what he was saying is, we don't like something that happened, and I've been here to tell you about it. So yeah, it's all been good. You know, he's had a tremendous career, and it's been fun. Yeah, has he performed at the highest level? But you know, years from now, yeah, we'll remember some of that, but we'll remember more about who he was and what he meant to this program as a person.
Okay.
This Oklahoma pitching staff, the amount of depth or the amount of power arms and the depth they have, do they compare to anybody y'all seen this year?
You know, I think a little bit, and that was my analysis as well, that these guys will come at you 5, 6, 7 deep with some power arms, and you know, I kind of felt like it was a little bit like the Gator staff. You know, they can run some guys at you if they choose to and need to, and Oklahoma lined some guys up that can do that. That's you know, one reason they were able to win down the stretch and do the things they were able to do is our pitching staff was able to limit some people. So, you know, in a nutshell, going into this weekend, the major concern for us is, can we score enough runs? It may sound a little bit like coach speak, but that's, to me, it's really the issue. Can we handle their pitching staff? We're not, you know, an offensive juggernaut, so we've got to figure out a way to try to get a few runs on the board.
Yeah.
After Michael's start tomorrow, what's the rest of the rotation going to shake out through games 2 and potentially 3?
We'll go Colby Holmes in game 2. Should there be a game 3, it's more than likely going to be Jordan Montgomery.
Just to clarify with Grayson, any chance at all that he could catch? I saw him kind of working in there with the trainers. There's some kind of thing that you might be putting on his catching gear. Any chance that he catches at all this weekend if he plays?
You know, I can't say no chance, but he's not going to start. And it would be a situation that if in fact we have to make some moves during the game and they tell me he might can handle an inning or 2 or something, you know, never say never. I think we're worried more about anything else than the incision maybe opening up because of that kind of flexibility that you would need to catch. So I think it's unlikely that you'll see him back there.
Anything else for Coach Tanner? All right.